Hi Flosstube, it's Lori of Mischievous Stitches. It is Sunday, July the 16th. I'm back again this weekend to show you a finish. I have finished my Speak to the Earth sampler by Cooler Design Studio. It is stitched on 32 count light mocha Belfast. I love it. Absolutely love it. My friend Patty inspired me to stitch this piece when I saw her stitching it at the Pals Cross Stitch Retreat in 2015. So she has since finished hers, and now I have mine finished. Can't wait to get it framed up and hanging here on my wall. Beautiful piece. I bought a few new patterns this week. Yes, I'm stitching from Stash. I did have a finish, so this was a credit. I'm trying really hard not to go over my budget. But you know, in the whole scheme of things, it's a goal, it's not a rule. Maybe I should look at it differently, but I'm not going to. It's a goal, my goal, not a rule. So, this week I bought, inspired by the Speak to the Earth sampler, I got on eBay and I found this piece. It is from a magazine. It's called the American Sampler. I believe Cozy Egg had mentioned in one of my Instagram posts that she, maybe it was Emily's Instagram post, but she mentioned that she had this one. And this is by Sandy Orton. And it shows a date of 1996 on it. And it says, Betty Jane Watson is my name. May I excel in deeds of fame and practice every useful art that may my happiness impart. Haven't given it a good once over. I'm thinking there are just a few specialty stitches, maybe those white flowers that scattered throughout. I know that the little people are stitched over one, and these are the cutest little fellas. They're like colonial dressed cherubs. Look. Their coat and tails flying out behind them. They've got their boots on, their little trumpets. But buying this was inspired by the Speak to the Earth sampler, because you can see here, look at the beautiful colors that's in it. I just love it. And this one is just as bright and cheerful as that one. So I look forward to stitching that one probably within this year. And the others that I bought was by someone that I'm familiar with her from my local stitch shop when it was open in the 90s. Her name is Darlene Austin, and the colors were just as bright and cheerful, but she had other specialty works and threads in them. They were band samplers, which was really popular in the 90s, and I first bought this one a couple weeks ago, and this is Mary's sampler. I love the colors. I love the motifs. That it is a band sampler. Love it. So this week, when I got the American sampler, I also received this one in the mail. And this is by Darlene Austin as well. And this is the floral sampler. Love the flowers. And it's another alphabet. And I know that my friend Krisha dislikes alphabets. I think I'm wearing on her though. I've noticed she's bought a few patterns lately that have alphabets on them. But anyway, I really love this piece. And so since I finished my Speak to the Earth sampler, it's time for a whip. So I picked up Windowsill of Heaven, which is Rosewood Manor. And this is the piece that I had showed you several videos ago that had the stains on it. And I had decided, reading everyone's comments, thank you for the comments, reading everyone's comments with suggestions on what to do as far as this piece is concerned in the staining, is I'm going to complete the staining, I'm going to complete the stitching and decide once it's complete whether or not I want to add more stain to it. Now you can see here is some of the staining, but there was also staining here. And so this week, I had, since completing the Speak to the Earth sampler, I have put this band, I'm going to call it a band, in. I don't really have this much left on this one. I think I could complete it within 2 to 3 weeks, and then I'll have another finish. I did put in the vine work on this band, started it and completed the greenery on it yesterday on my trip to the coast, and started the flowers today and realized that it wasn't meeting here correctly because it was sitting on top of these stitches, and I was checking the stitches vertically against the stitches below, but I was actually up. Wait a minute. I was down 1 stitch too far when I made the placement, and so when I got here, that's why it was touching, so I needed to move it up. So I had to rip it all out. So everything I did yesterday and on the trip home this morning, I had to rip out. So my husband and I took off first thing yesterday morning. There is, in the city of Beaufort, South Carolina, they have a yearly festival called the Water Festival. And last night, and it's a week-long festival, and it commenced last night with a concert, and the headline for the concert was Aaron Lewis, who is a country singer, but he was also the lead singer in the group Stained from the 90s, which is my time frame, 80s, 90s. So we took off up there to see that concert last night. I had a wonderful time with my husband. The concert was amazing, but I am so tired today. I think we got back to the room about 2 a.m. I am too old. I'm not too old. I do not have the energy to stay up till 2 a.m. after having one too many adult beverages anymore. I've outgrown that phase. But overall, the setting, we were in the Beaufort Riverfront Park. So the stage was just feet from the water, so we had the breeze coming off the Edisto River, which actually lets out into the ocean. We had the breeze from the river. It was actually 97 degrees when we got there, but with the humidity, it was a heat index of 105. So compound that with adult beverages. We had a great time though. What else? So I completed the Speak to the Earth, and I picked up the Windowsill of Heaven, but I did work on my Rosewood Manor that I started on the 4th of July American flag sampler. I did not pay close enough attention a couple of times as far as this pattern is concerned. Number one, I told you all in the video that I showed you the size of the fabric that it was 32 count. It's 28. So that's one of the reasons this piece of fabric is ginormous. The other thing is, I have no plans to work on this consistently until I have a finish like I have my other pieces, because not only just the sheer size, it is chock full of back stitching. As a rule, I avoid, for the most part, I avoid back stitching. This has more back stitching than I would normally allow in a pattern that I buy. So I worked on this on the 4th of July, and I completed all the blue. Then hold on just a second. Yeah.
Could I take part of the Drews to drop them off?
Just to Drews and back?
Yeah.
Yes. My keys are in my purse. It is full of back stitching. So I spent 2 hours. You can see Delaware's with 3371. I stitched that, and you can see a little bit of the back stitching here, but inside the actual quilt, forced quilt corners of the quilt square, it's also back stitched with the yellow. You can see this one doesn't stand out right. Well, I accidentally got the thread in this one of the center parts of the linens instead of the corner like I'm supposed to, so I've got to fix that. But 2 hours of back stitching and I'm not done. Each quilt square is full of back stitching, and actually the entire piece, once finished, has a star spangled back stitched border. Hear that sigh? I will persevere. I will not give up. Speaking of give ups, Natasha passed me a couple of give ups this week. A couple of her give ups. And I'm going to show them to you. Crinkle, crinkle. This is the first one, and this is Gypsy Hearts by Shepherd's Bush. And this is how much she has complete. She's over halfway done, girls and guys. And she give up. I will make it my own. And the other one is Old Glory by Shepherd's Bush as well. And this is how much she has done. Now I will say, I did have this piece and had started this piece, and I worked on it at lunch, and I had a little quilted bag, quilted zipper bag that I kept in to take it back and forth to work. One day I'm leaving work and it's raining, and I thought it was protected and it didn't get wet. Well, the piece got wet. It ruined it because the silk threads did bleed onto the fabric and I couldn't get it out. And so I did throw the piece away, but I kept the pattern. The pattern was a little warped from the moisture, but otherwise it was fine. And I intended to one day stitch it again because I didn't have enough threads after stitching so much. I had about half completed, but I didn't have enough threads to finish it up. I knew I needed to buy the silk threads, but now I have Natasha's kit. So thank you, Natasha. And I like the thought of my friend Natasha starting something and I finished it. So it's like we're stitching on it together. You know, we're friends of this common thread of stitching. And so it makes me feel good to know that she's worked on some and I work on another. Worked on, that's my garage door. Hope you can't hear it too bad. Also, this piece here, my friend Ann started that years ago, and she had a box full of give-ups in her garage one day, and I saw them and I said, can I take those home, take them with me and give them a good home? And she says, yeah. And this is one of the pieces, and she had finished the head and part of the hair when I got it, and that was it on this beautiful hand-dyed fabric. So I took it home with me and finished it up, gave it a good home, framed it. And with this piece, I had an interesting arrangement with a local framer here in town. She was a stitcher. She had several frame pieces in her frame shop that she had actually stitched and framed for herself. And when she learned that I was a stitcher from me taking pieces to her, she said, if, you know, she posed the question to me, if I was willing to stitch pieces for her of her choosing that from her stash, then she would frame my pieces for free. So I did that. We did that about a year or 2 years, and I ended up with 3 huge pieces framed, and she ended up with 3 finished pieces of her own. And I was, you know, I thought that was a great arrangement. But this is one of the pieces that she framed for me, as well as this one up here. This is Spring Splendor. It is a Barbara and Cheryl. It's a piece from, based on a home in Charleston, South Carolina, that she framed both of those. And I can't remember what all I've told you. Oh, Miss Julie McConnell in her last video. I mentioned in my last video that I had bought a magazine because she showed this in her last one stitched up. And once again, the picture just doesn't do it justice. So if you've not seen her most recent video, I don't think she's put one out this weekend, but go take a look at towards the end of her video. She has this stitched and framed. It's her own piece. It's gorgeous. And there's actually beads in this kettle. You don't even see that. But this is the piece, I found it, that I already owned, that made me think of this one. And they're actually by the same designer. And the designer's name is Sandy Gore Evans. Fall is my favorite month. Everything about fall just makes me happy. And I will hopefully be stitching one of these two this fall to frame. So I have those. What else do I have going on? Oh, I got some of the little wood tiles from the Pork Shop show this week. The last video I was telling you all that I had a cork board and I showed you the fabric that I was going to cover that had airmail envelopes on it, and so I ordered envelopes from Pork Shop show, and my plan is to use these and glue tacks on them so that I can put things in the cork board. Now what I want to put on there is I keep getting the sweetest notes and postcards from some of you from out here in Flosstube world and Mania world, and see the smile on my face. It makes me happy to get those cards and postcards and letters. And I want to use that cork board to put some pictures of stitch trips, but also to put these letters on it because they make me happy. So I'm going to make tacks out of these. I have them upside down. But I'm going to make, I've got about 10 of them, I think, from Pork Chop Show, and I'm going to make them into tacks. And I might make a needle minder or two out of them, probably will. But I have those. And while my husband and I was at the coast, I did pick up, we went into a few thrift shops, and I only saw a few samplers, and two of them, one was from 1970. It was huge. It was about this size, and it was $95. I would have loved to have it. Let me tell you, I was happy to see that cost on that piece. It was worth more than $95, but it was worth $95. It made me happy to see something at a price range that I was unwilling to pay that much for it. I didn't have to save that one. That one's going to find a good home too, because anyone willing to pay that much for that piece is going to love it. I did find this book, and it's Erica Wilson's Needlepoint. And it's based on pieces that are in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And so I was just looking over it last night before the concert. And there's a piece in here that is a unicorn. I had no idea that unicorns were symbolic for purity and virginity. Did you? I'm trying to find it. I don't know when I will stitch these pieces. I just really love not only the pieces that were chosen to be put into this book, but I also love the stories that came along with each piece, where the inspiration for the design was, pictures of the inspiration. This is the inspiration for, this is the piece. This is the inspiration for the piece, and it's a rug. But rugs were so treasured and prized during that time that even though they were rugs, people were using them as table runners because they didn't want people walking in on them with their boots. And I just found that interesting. So that's just one of the stories. But that's the needlepoint piece, and this is the rug. I'm interested in trying some needlepoint. I do have the two pieces that I do have that I've shown you in the past, but it's another new expense. I have no supplies to draw from where needlepoint is concerned, and that's the one thing that holds me back from giving them a try this time. Maybe in the future, or I'm sure in the future, I'm going to go ahead and say it because it's going to happen. In the future, I will. But great buy at $2. There were several others there. They just did not draw my attention the way this one did. And I did pick up a sweetgrass basket at the coast. When you go to the South Carolina coast, and I don't know if it's, I think you can also, it's like that in Savannah as well. There's always people sitting on the sidewalk that are making handmade sweetgrass baskets. They can be very pricey, indeed, but they smell like fresh cut hay. They're sweetgrass, but I have been wanting one, and I got one, and those are some postcards, but I got that this weekend. And I'm going to put my knitting yarns in here so I can put them in my room with me. And my room is still a work in progress. As you can see behind me, my daughter and I did get some pictures hung this week on Thursday night. I'm so happy with the way it's going so far. Like I said, it's not going to be matchy in here. It'd be great if it was, because you know that. But at the same time, compared to the rest of the house, this is going to be more like a gypsy abode. I enjoyed it sitting with her this weekend, and this week, and putting these pictures on the wall. I'm just going to show you a couple of the ones behind me. This, pretty much everything that we've got hung on this specific wall, you can see in here. So, still have more to hang. They're propped up against the wall, on the floor, everywhere. Looking forward to that. Have not got to this weekend's project, which I told you was the cork board, but the weekend is not over. Other than that, I wish you all a very good weekend. What remains of it. Enjoy your family. Get plenty of stitch time in. And hugs and stitches to every one of you. Bye-bye.
Start the show off every night the same way. So anybody who's sitting down, please stand up. Gentlemen, if you're wearing a hat, please remove it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Back in 1964, my grandfather was a drinker back in the days now. But the war's known to change a man, and the whiskey's known to change a man. But that's not me. I might drink a little whiskey, smoke a little weed. Still live in the sticks where you wouldn't go. A town of 1200 off an old dirt road, and the country boy is all I'll ever be. Sold my soul to the devil in LA. Said sign your name here on the dotted line, and you're sell a million records, boy, better listen to. He said, change your style, whiten your smile, lose a couple pounds. And if you want to live this life, you better lose that wife. You need your friends around. And I said, shit, that's not me. Cause the biggest things in life are your friends and family. And I like my jeans and my old t-shirts. A couple extra pounds never really hurt. The country boy is all I'll ever be. No tank top means just how to stay alive. Never catch me out the house without my 9 or 45. Got a whip on the tractor and a diesel truck. My deal never fishing whitetail bucks. I'm a country boy, no I can't survive. Now 2 flags fly above my land that really sum up how I feel. One is the colors that fly high and proud, red, the white, the blue. Got a rattlesnake with a simple statement made. Don't tread on me, is what it says, and I'll take that to my grave. This is me. I'm proud to be American and strong in my belief. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again, 'cause I've never needed preference to hold my hand. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again.